Moving on to the approaches to health education, which are the different ways in we can approach health education. There are 4 ways. First is regulatory approach, second is service approach, third is health education approach, and fourth is primary healthcare approach. First, we are going to look into regulatory approach. Regulatory approach involves any direct or indirect governmental intervention that is designed to alter human behavior. The regulations may range from prohibition to imprisonment. For example, prohibition of smoking in public areas. Now, this regulatory approach seeks change by improvement in health through laws placed on people. Example is the Child Marriage Restraint Act and the compulsory use of seat belts, helmets and masks in this time of corona. Now, these laws are useful especially in the control of epidemics. Health education does not force people to change, but legislations, that is, such laws can be used to reinforce a collective behavior. Concising the points under approach to health education, first we have the regulatory approach. It involves any direct or indirect governmental intervention designed to alter human behavior. The regulations range from prohibition to imprisonment. It seeks change by improvement in health through laws placed on people. Example is Child Marriage Restraint Act, compulsory seat belts, helmets, masks. Laws are useful for the control of epidemics. Health education does not force people to change, but legislation, that is rules, can be used to reinforce collective behavior. The next is service approach. Now, this approach was aimed at providing health services needed by people at their doorsteps, in the assumption that people would use them to improve their own health. Example is the latrines were provided in rural areas where it was not used as it was not based on their felt needs. Now, if the people in the rural areas have been trained since childhood to not use latrines or to use open areas for defecation, and if suddenly such a service is provided to them where they were provided with latrines, they might not feel the need to use those latrines. So, it should be based on their felt needs, that is, they must personally feel the need to use it for a better health status. So, the lesson is that people will not accept a program or service even if it is offered free of cost unless it is based on their felt needs. And for this reason, the service approach was a failure. Next is the service approach. It is aimed at providing all health services needed by people at their doorstep in the assumption that people would use them to improve their own health. Example is latrine provided in rural areas were not used as it was not based on felt needs of the people, and it resulted to be a failure. Lesson is that people will not accept a program or service even if it is offered free of cost unless it is based on their felt needs. Next is the health education approach. Many problems like stopping of smoking, use of alcohol, the fertility control, use of safe water supply can be solved only through health education. People are educated through planned learning experiences and are informed, educated and encouraged to make their own healthy life. Now, what does this mean? Just as when we go to watch a film in a theatre, before that we are given with certain introductory warnings like smoking is injurious to health, and they show a person who is suffering because of cancer. So that is actually a learning experience of a person who is suffering because of the excessive use of alcohol or drugs or smoke. So that is a planned learning experience that is put forward. So in that way we have to promote health education. Now, health education in young population is more effective because attitudes and behavioral patterns are formed early in life. So the behavior can be more easily controlled in the young population. Next is the health education approach. Many problems such as cessation of smoking, alcohol, use of safe water supply, fertility control can be solved only through health education. People are educated through planned learning experiences and are informed, educated and encouraged to make their own healthy life. Health education in young population is effective because behavior is more easily controlled. Now, the last approach is the primary healthcare approach. This is a new approach and it involves the full and active participation of people. It involves planning and delivering health services based on the principles of primary healthcare, which is community involvement and intersectoral coordination. Basically, it involves the active involvement of the people. The objective of primary healthcare approach is to help individuals to become self-reliant in the matters of health with the help of the necessary guidance of healthcare providers in identifying the health problems and finding solutions for it. Next is the primary healthcare approach. It is a new approach. It involves full participation and active involvement of people. It involves planning and delivering health services based on principles of primary healthcare, which involve community involvement and intersectoral coordination. The objective is to help individuals to become self-reliant in matters of health. People receive necessary guidance from healthcare providers in identifying health problems and finding solutions. Next, we are looking at the models of health education. They are basically the examples. First is the medical model, second is the motivation model, and third is the social intervention model. First, let's look at the medical model. The medical model is focused on recognition and treatment of disease with the help of technological advancements. It was based on scientific facts. It assumed that people would act on the information that was provided, but no importance was given to the social, psychological and cultural factors, and it did not bridge the gap between knowledge and behavior. So basically, medical model was focused on providing people with information about the treatment and the recognition of diseases. But this information alone wasn't sufficient for the people because this information did not consider the psychological, behavioral and cultural factors of the people. Therefore, the medical model was not that successful. Now, concising the important points and the models of health education, first we have the medical model. The medical model is focused on recognition and treatment of diseases with the help of technological advancements. It was based on scientific facts. It was assumed that people would act on information, but no importance was given to social, cultural and psychological factors, and it did not bridge the gap between knowledge and behavior. Second is the motivation model. Motivation acts as the main force to translate health information into health action. Just receiving the information is not enough. We have to act on the information that we have received. Now, the adoption of new behavior or idea is a process consisting of several stages. When we receive information, we have to adopt it, and this process consists of 3 stages as shown by sociologists. These 3 stages include awareness, motivation and action. Now, this is called the adoption model. First is awareness. Awareness is when you get the general information. For example, there is an awareness on coronavirus program, so you get the general information about it. Second is motivation, where you develop interest towards it. You evaluate the information that you have received, that is, you are trying to accept it, then you have decision making on it. And finally, there's action, that is adoption or acceptance. You accept that particular information that you have received and you act accordingly in order to prevent the spread. Finally, there's internalization, when the new idea or acquired behavior becomes part of one's own existing values. It is called internalization. For example, you're using masks as a part of prevention of coronavirus. It becomes a part of your existing values, and that is called internalization. Next is the motivation model. Motivation acts as the main force to translate health information into desired health action. Adoption of a new behavior or idea is a process consisting of several stages. Sociologists have described 3 stages such as awareness, motivation, action, that is adoption model. Awareness includes getting general information. Motivation includes interest, evaluation and decision making. Action includes adoption or acceptance, and finally, internalization is when the new idea or acquired behavior becomes part of one's own existing values. It is called internalization. Finally, we have the social intervention model. The social environment shapes the behavior of the individual and community. Group support is important in helping reach decisions and taking action. People will not accept something new until and unless it is accepted by the community in which they are living. An effective health education model is based on the presence of the knowledge of human ecology as well as the understanding the interaction between cultural, biological, physical and social environmental factors. So basically, if a particular idea is put forward in health education towards a community, that idea has to be accepted by all the people of that community. Only then will each person try to adopt that thing that is being imparted to them. Finally, we have the social intervention model. The social environment shapes the behavior of individual and community. Group support is important in helping reach decisions and taking action. People will not accept something new or novel until it is approved by the group to which they belong. Effective health education model based on the precise knowledge of human ecology, understanding interaction between cultural, biological, physical, social, environmental factors. Now let's look at the differences between health education and propaganda. Health education is basically based on true facts, whereas propaganda is an information that is biased or misleading in nature, used to promote a particular point of view. Now let's look at the differences one by one. In health education, knowledge and skills are actively acquired, whereas in propaganda, knowledge is instilled in the minds of people. That is the first differentiation. Second is, in education, it makes people think for themselves. When we are educated, we think about that particular knowledge that we have gained, we think for ourselves. Whereas in propaganda, it prevents or discourages us from thinking by ready-made slogans. In a particular passive way, they try to inculcate their idea into us without letting us think for ourselves. Okay. Now the third difference is that education disciplines the primitive desires. It disciplines us. But in propaganda, it arouses and stimulates primitive desires. Fourth difference is that it develops the reflective behavior. That is, education develops reflective behavior and it includes judgment between what is right and wrong. Whereas in propaganda, it develops reflexive behavior, which means it is impulsive in nature. Now, education appeals to reason. That is, it has reasoning behind everything that is given as a knowledge. While in propaganda, it appeals to emotion. It basically is focused on the emotion of people. Now, in education, it develops individuality, personality, self-expression. Whereas in propaganda, it develops attitudes and behaviors according to the mold that is used. That is according to the information that is passed on. Now, knowledge acquired is through self-reliant activity in health education. Whereas in propaganda, the knowledge is spoon-fed and passively received. As I said earlier, it is passively received, it is spoon-fed. Now, in education, behavior-centered process is what is taking place. Behavior-centered process, behavior of a particular person. Whereas in propaganda, it is information-centered. That is, a person acts according to the information that is given to us. So that is the differences between education and propaganda. Concising the points under the differences between health education and propaganda. First, education involves knowledge and skills that are actively acquired, whereas in propaganda, the knowledge is instilled in the minds of people. In education, it makes people think for themselves, whereas in propaganda, it prevents or discourages thinking by ready-made slogans. In education, disciplines primitive desires, whereas in propaganda, it arouses and stimulates primitive desires. Here, it develops reflective behavior involving judgment, whereas here, it develops reflexive behavior which is impulsive. In education, it appeals to reason. Here, it appeals to emotion. It develops individuality, personality, and self-experimentation. In propaganda, it develops attitudes and behavior according to mold used. In education, knowledge acquired through self-reliant activity, whereas in propaganda, the knowledge is spoon-fed and passively received. In education, behavior-centered process, and in propaganda, it is information-centered process.